This week on the OneCast, we're going to break down the 2025 NPFL season and why Trey shaved his mustache.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's going to be a bad day.
Why are we talking about? Didn't we do something on the last episode?
Yeah,
where we talked about
I talked about how great your mustache was. And shaved it off. Not even 3 days later, it's gone.
You know what, man?
My heart.
My face needed a discount, just like all of you guys. So head on over to OneCastFishing.com and use the code TheOneCast, all one word at checkout. Get your hands on the snagless jigs, the weedless nets, the soft plastics, the long neck hooks, the merch, all that good stuff. And make sure you get those hematoma and green pumpkin nighthawks because the flipping time is right around the corner, man. So head on over and save some money at OneCast Fishing. Where else do you need to go?
That felt like a bit of a reach. But you know what isn't a reach? The quality of Hobie Eyewear. Use the link below at thehobieeyewear.com. Save yourself some money. Grab some of the new Hall floats, floating frames made out of 100% upcycled kayak plastic. You also get a sweet hard case that's made out of the same kayak plastic, and then an upcycled soft case that serves also as a cleaning cloth.
Yeah.
So use the link, save some money. When you're done there, what should they do, man?
Well, it's tournament season. I didn't have a good transition.
I know he was looking for a good one.
I was trying to get a good transition, but tournament season's kicking off. You know, we all like to get out there early, get some practice in, a little pre-fishing, but we always try to plan out what to do before we get there. To help you guys out, go download the Deep Dive app from your app store. Take advantage of the free trial, and then go ahead and pay for the subscription. It's going to point you in the right locations. It's going to give you weather, the weather forecast, barometric pressure, wind, inflows, stream flow, the wind effects out there with the waves. It's a great tool to help plan your fishing trip, plan your potential tournament, or plan your practice. It tells you the best ideas. It tells you the best potential locations, and also some of the baits to use out there from their data. So go check it out. Use that before you get in the water next time.
Yep. Last but not least, head to CarolinaWatersNC.com.
And that wasn't last, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Head on over to CarolinaWatersNC.com. Use the code TheOneCast. We're just having a good time here, folks. Use the code TheOneCast, all one word at checkout. Get your hands on all that UPF gear, those awesome hats that we love to wear, the gloves, the buffs, all that good stuff that Carolina Waters has to offer you guys. Local company here. Great friends of the show. Great partners, have been with us since pretty much the very beginning. So use that code, hook them up, and show support to local companies here in North Carolina. And last but not least, if you are in the market in central North Carolina for a good piece of property, whether or not residential, or you're looking for land, Pete's going to give you some information you need to listen to.
Yeah, you need to hit up our buddy Terry Carpenter, licensed NC realtor at Coldwell Banker, Howard Perry, and Walston. Terry is a full-time realtor, also a bass angler here in the Raleigh area. He can get you that home, that land, whatever it is you're looking for, whether you're buying or selling. Terry is your guy. He's going to take great care of you. I definitely recommend reaching out to him. He helped my wife and I buy our home when we moved down here. And he's become a great friend of the show. He came and hung out at Bass Pro with us a couple weeks ago. We got to spend some time talking fishing and life, and so that's always good. So make sure you give Terry a call, 919-475-5002, or you can email him, carpentert@hpw.com. Also, if you hit our link tree, his link tree is linked in there. It's a link tree inception. You can hit him up through there and see all of his socials and all that good stuff. So make sure you check Terry out if you're looking for a home in the Raleigh area. I just want to read something real quick.
Okay.
Before we get going.
Why don't you do that?
Because before we talk about the NPFL, we want to talk about news right now. Right now, if you're listening 2 weeks ago, the MLF wrapped up on Harris Chain.
The BPT.
The BPT wrapped up on Harris Chain. I want to read something because there was a lot of smack talk about a particular angler, right, after the first event, because he went out there and he caught him with a certain piece of technology and then he didn't. So I want to read a little something. And I shouldn't have said that beforehand because now it's a giveaway. But for anybody listening, you may not know. So here, let me read you a synopsis. 2010 first place in BFL FLW Buckeye Division. 2011 12th place finish in the Forest Wood Cup, first place finish FLW BFL All-American. Youngest in FLW history to win the BFL All-American. wire-to-wire win with the largest spread in the history of the BFL All-American. 2012, first place finish Forrest L. Wood Cup, youngest in FLW history to win the FLW Cup. Wire-to-wire win with the largest spread in the history of the FLW Cup. Ultimate Match Fishing champion. Second place finish in the Forrest Wood Cup in 2013. 2014, first place finish at the Bassmaster Elite Series Bass Fest. 10th place finish in the Forrest Wood Cup. 2015, fourth place finish Forrest Wood Cup. 14th place Bassmaster Classic. 2016, 7th place FLW Cup. 4th place AOI FLW Tour. Bassmaster Northern Opens Elite Series Qualifier. 2017, third place Bassmaster Elite Series Angler of the Year. 4th place finish Bassmaster Angler of the Year Championship. 4th place Bassmaster Elite Series Lake Champlain. 3rd place finish Toyota Bassmaster Texas Fest. 10th place Elite Series Toyota Bend. 1st place Bassmaster Elite Series Cherokee Lake. 2018, 9th place Bassmaster Angler of the Year. 3rd place finish Toyota Bassmaster Angler of the Year Championship. 2nd place finish Bassmaster Elite Series Lake Travis. 2019, 1st place Major League Fishing General Tire World Championship. 1st place Major League Fishing Challenge Cup North Carolina. 1st place Major League Fishing Bass Pro Tour Table Rock number 2. 5th place Major League Fishing Bass Pro Tour Table Rock. 2020,
I think we get
first place Major League Fishing Bass Pro B&W Hitch Taylor State 1. 1st place Major League Fishing Tack Warehouse Pro Circuit Chickamauga Super Tournament. 1st place Major League Fishing Toyota Series Central Pickwick. You get the point? Like, the dude's been catching them forever. He went down there to Florida the first 2 days. I don't know how the tournament ended yet, so we'll talk about it then. He caught 85 pounds on day 1, never turned forward-facing sonar. Went out, and he only needed 20 pounds to make sure he stayed in first on day 2, and so he went and did that today on 6 fish, 22 pounds almost. That, to me, was a big, I've had enough of this. I'm going to go out and show you I don't even need this. Never even turned it on, even though he could have for a period. Most of his roommates did. Adrian and Vina didn't. What's cool about this one, so with the change in the tech, and you can see when people are using forward-facing, the top 5 after day 2, not a single one of them turned it on today.
Nope.
Zach Burge had another huge day 2 to jump from like 70-something to 14th, made the cut. So, you know, we've talked about Jacob and joked about, stuff with him, but the dude has been an absolute hammer for a very long time.
He's a fish catching machine.
And I guarantee you, if you read those stats to somebody and they didn't know who you were talking about, that wouldn't be who they guessed that was.
Nope.
But that dude has dominated. And it continues to. I think I stopped at 2019 all the way through 24. He's winning derbies every year, Anglers of the Year. So a lot of respect for Jacob Wheeler continuing to prove that he can catch him without him. Everybody, I think, forgot that he's won blue trophies.
And that he's won
Forrest Wood Cups, the youngest ever with the largest point or largest weight spread ever.
Yeah.
So super cool stuff. It was fun to see them guys go down there. And different strategy, different tournament than the first one. Didn't even need the forward facing to go out there and smash them. So they made the cut today. He won't even have to fish tomorrow since he won qualifying. He doesn't have to fish the cut round or whatever they call that, the elimination round, the third day, whatever that is.
And by the time everyone's hearing this,
we'll know who won. It may not be him. He may not have won, but if you can't throw some respect towards that dude for going out and smashing 85 pounds with a flipping stick, he caught 2 8-pounders. I'm sorry, a 7-15.
Yeah.
And an 8-4.
Yeah, don't church it up.
Yeah, I don't want to church it up too much, but
I think the point here
pretty
is,
awesome.
We don't have to sit here and if you don't like the technology, you don't like it. If you like it, you like it. But at the end of the day, there's no reason to judge everyone for what they do. These guys are out there doing it for a living, and if they have the ability, and Zach Burge said that to us last year.
Yep.
When we were down at Lake Murray, he said, "Hey, he goes, you're kind of crazy not to use the technology if it's at your disposal."
Yep.
Right? Why would you not use your technology? Now we're getting ready to dive into the NPFL, and they've made those changes for 2025. But at the end of the day, dude, if BPT is allowing it for one period and guys are taking advantage of it, good on them. Jacob Wheeler in the top 5 didn't even have to worry about it. So, don't be throwing shade at people. I mean, I'm just saying. But anyways, that was a lot of stats, dude. What'd you do? Go to Angler Resource or Bass
No,
Resource?
just
Whatever?
went to Jacob Wheeler.
I was like,
His website. So now we'll talk about.
No, he's got a shrine to him. He's got all these on his
You can
wall
go
in
to.
his
I think
house.
it's Jacob Wheeler. I googled it earlier. I think it's Jacob
He's been
Wheeler.
collecting these since 2012.
Sorry, wheelerfishing.com if you want to go see it
It's
for
my
yourself.
bookmarks.
He's got all of his stuff on there. I saw somebody post a screenshot of a bunch of these. And I'm
Good
like, I gotta
gracious.
find.
I didn't
look
even
at
know that
dude.
was a website. Yeah,
He's got his own, so he tracked so people can see what he's done.
it's very KVD like.
I mean, if I had that many,
his
if I had that many red winnings next to mine, I mean, every
Yeah.
year, the only year he didn't win one is 2018.
Wow.
Like, it's wild. But now we're going to talk about a league that doesn't allow that technology.
Yeah.
And that is the NPFL,
The MPFL.
because they have banned forward-facing sonar.
Yeah, if you didn't know, I don't know where
2025.
you've been because everybody's been talking about it. It's been the talk of the bass fishing world. Even I think Milliken just last week did a video talking about it. So it's still at the front of a lot of people's minds. And they're going to kick off with stop number 1, March 6th through 8th at Santee Cooper.
Hmm.
That's going to be maybe a slugfest. We were just talking before we went. Typically those fish would be moved up, starting to do their thing. There is some colder weather. I know they've started catching them shallow down in that part of the country. Ben pointed out a pretty good cold stretch coming next week. I don't know if it's going to be enough to drop the temperature enough to where it's really going to stop things, but that's still 2 weeks till you get to almost 3 weeks till they're down there.
Yeah.
A week of warm weather and some sun, and they'll be right back on track. So, yeah, that's going to be a fun one. There's a lot of really good shallow water anglers that were already in the MPFL, and they added a bunch this year, with Hackney and Swindle and some other folks coming over. You've got Seth Ellis already there, Zach Burge, some of our other friends that fish it.
You got
a lot of dudes that can hammer them shallow.
Mm-hmm.
And now no forward facing, which we know on Santee, you guys have figured out how to see them around those cypress trees and stuff using it. That's taken away. You got Drew Cook. I forgot he's fishing it now. Like you got some dudes that can catch them.
Brandon Cobb.
Man, if it turns into a sight fishing event, that's good.
That's a tough guy to beat if it's a sight fishing event. And our friend of the show Seth's really good, but a lot of guys are good at that. It's going to be. I think that one's going to be a slugfest. I don't know if we'll see a century belt, but I think we're going to see some big bags.
So have you guys? Neither of you guys have been on Santee before, right?
No, just
I've never been on it before. Santee Cooper, very dangerous body of water
In parts.
In parts, a lot of cypress knees and danger areas and stuff like that. But the other thing that maybe not a lot of people know about Santee is when the wind gets rolling, that place can get really, really choppy. So it can get pretty dangerous. We all know March, right? Springtime brings a lot of rain, brings a lot of inclement weather and stuff. So, I hope that they have a solid 3 days of derby fishing, but be on the lookout for some heavy winds, man.
Yeah, they're probably early enough. They're not going to get those big spring winds, but anytime you can get those storms and stuff that pop up.
Yep.
So you definitely got to be careful. Usually later March, early April is when they really get pounded with that. But again, like Trey said, it doesn't take a lot to get that place really rolling. Who's going to win?
Well,
we don't want to spend a bunch of time talking about the lakes.
I wanted to ask 360. Is it going to be a player?
Well, I'm the only one here that has on our boat, and it'll on my boat and have used it a lot. It's 1,000% going to be a player. If you've never used it, not that you don't know how useful it can be in a situation like that, but once you see it shallow, especially around cypress trees and these guys that understand it or have taken the time to practice and work with it, it'll make a difference because they will. While you won't be able to see yourself fish a bed with it, you'll be able to see potentially fish around beds that you're not going to see with 2D or down imaging or even side imaging. They get down in those cypress knees and stuff, and you can pick them out with 360.
Okay.
So I think it will.
Who do you think?
You think it'll play? You guys have an opinion on that?
Oh yeah, it's going to play.
Yeah.
I mean, those fish will be moving up shallow. I don't think it's going to be a bed fishing tournament at all.
Yeah.
There might be one or two, but I don't think there'll be a lot of spawners. I remember 2 years ago when Bassmaster went there. That was like the end of April, and the winners all were catching bedfish.
Yeah.
So I just think it's too early. I'm going to go with a guy who was when the NPFL was there 2 years ago, came in 10th, and that's Jesse Wise.
Ooh,
I think he's got a
North Carolina local here.
He's got plenty of time down there.
He does.
Santee, and I think it'd be kind of cool for one of the local boys and one of the, like, I don't know if you call them OG NPFLers, because
he's pretty OG.
Because we got all the new names to go out there and absolutely hammer them on Santee.
Yeah. Okay. You want me to pick? I'm going to go with Brandon Cobb. Brandon Cobb's fishing the NPFL this year. He's an Elite Series angler. He's from South Carolina originally, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe he's from Georgia or something like that. But he is somebody that has not been using forward-facing sonar that much anyways. And he's a power shallow water fisherman, dude, a shallow water fisherman all day long. He's got a ton of experience on that lake, and I think he's going to come in swinging. So I'm going to go with an Elite Series guy, Brandon Cobb, on this one. What do you got, Pete?
Yeah, they got a lot of guys that are really good, and it's not easy to pick this one. But I'm going to go with another South Carolina guy that's got a lot of experience winning tournaments in South Carolina. And continues to ride an absolute ridiculous hot streak, especially in PFL. And that guy's name is Patrick Walters. Last time they were there, it was fishing weird. He figured out and won it.
He won it. But at that same year, I think that was the same year the Bassmasters went, the Elites, and he did not do well in that one.
No, well, that was a sight fishing deal. And if this isn't going to be a bed fishing, sight fishing deal, which it still could be, because if you remember that year, that when they went and they were spawning so late, it was a very weird winter because they got all that rain and muddy water and the lake was high. So the bass spawned a lot later than they usually do. If you go back and look at tournament results, early to mid-March is typically when they're bed fishing on that lake. So that was like a month later than what it normally is. I'm with you. I don't think it's going to be a bed fishing tournament. I think they're probably a month early, but if it's offshore and it's kind of that weird stuff, I think Patrick can go out there and prove that he can do it without technology, because he's got a rap saying he's got to have it.
Yeah.
And we all know that he doesn't. I mean, he was, again, you could probably read a laundry list like we did at the start of the show on him. So I think a lot of guys are going to do really good. You know, I think Seth Ellis is going to do really good.
I think Josh Hooks
is going to do really good.
Jason Christie's going
to do really good. Like, this is a really tough one because it sets up for what all of us we're doing when we started fishing. Hank Cherry's probably going to have a good derby. Swindle out there with a jig. I mean, Bill Lowen, Wes Logan. Those are guys that have put a flipping stick in their hand and caught a bunch of fish. Buck Mallory is a guy that's done it. You can go down this list and about everybody on there has a shot. So it's a tough one to call. James Watson's back. He's had success.
Oh, I forgot.
I think there's another lake that's going to fish better for him. But
I do too.
There's just so many dudes that have are strong in that shallow water game. Caleb Cupall, like,
yeah. I mean, it's stacked.
It's wild. So, but then they leave there and they come to North Carolina. So another major event in North Carolina. This one they're heading west of us instead of east to the fabled Lake Norman, North Carolina, aka the Dead Sea. It's not anymore.
No, it's not. It's
because 40 of the spots, but
44,500 acres of big spotted bass, and there's some still good largemouth in there too. This one, in fact, I believe is going to be a sight fishing derby.
Yeah.
Right. April 16th through the 18th, like Pete said. This one, it's the lake of 1 million docks. It's got literally like 1 million docks on it.
Yeah.
And there are some vegetation in there, you know.
Yeah, I don't think it'll play, but there is.
But the lake is gonna fish different based on where you're fishing in the lake, right? Because if you guys remember, there's a hot water discharge in that lake. So where traditionally the northern part of your lake spawns first, I don't know if that's going to be necessary.
I don't think it changes it a whole lot, because that hot water discharge doesn't change the water temperature that much. It's like a degree or two warmer. Yeah. So when it's 50 in the rest of the lake, it's like 52 or 53.
If it doesn't get dirty, it will be a few degrees different.
Yeah. I also know that branch is not as good as it used to be, and they're not catching the fish out of there like they used to.
I think you're going to see that tournament won on out of the South. I think you're going to see it one out of the South. That's just my prediction. But that being said, I think Seth is going to win this one. I think he's going to win this one. And the reason I say that is because I think he's the most comfortable, at least based on having conversations with him. He's very, very good at bed fishing. He knows Lake Norman very well. That doesn't mean that there aren't others, because like Matt McBee lives over there, Hayden Hammond lives over that area, stuff like that. But I think Seth is going to take this one home. What do you guys think?
I mean, I agree. It's going to be a bed fishing event.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go probably the best sight fisherman.
You're going Drew Cook?
Drew Cook. I mean, if it turns out to be especially down the South where it's got clear water and you can really see the beds, and it's hard to bet against them.
It is for sure.
Yeah, and I'm going with a local guy that's won a ton of April tournaments on there, like a lot.
Hank Cherry,
probably. I forgot about Hank Cherry. Yeah, there's so many people fishing it now, like I can't keep up. But no, the guy that we know, he knows that lake extremely well. It's between him and Matt McBee, but I'm going to go with Brad Staley because Brad, Seth, I know we got some guys that are really good dock fishermen. I've fished behind Brad and seen him fish docks, and that dude is probably the best dock fisherman I've ever seen in my life.
If it doesn't turn into a sight fishing event for whatever reason, I think one of the 19 North Carolina boys is probably going to win.
I think the difference there is lake knowledge. I have a feeling Cook's never been there, and he won't know those secret little pockets and stuff where those fish spawn, and those local guys will. We all know there's areas.
Maybe. I just feel like if it's sight fishing, there's a bunch on beds. It equalizes it. And two, I mean, that dude's just
he's built.
I would agree on a normal lake. Norman does not have 5 to 6 pound largemouth in the entire lake. There are certain areas that have them, and if you don't know those areas, you may not find them. Mm-hmm. We all been there. We've all fished it, and there's certain creek arms and certain areas where you catch them.
I'm sure.
And there's certain areas where you don't, and that stuff is locked down tighter than a frog's butthole.
And where I say that, do the local boys have a little bit of advantage because the guys coming over from the other tours, they haven't fished Norman that much. I think
most of them are probably never fished it.
I think the NPFL, I'm not the NPFL,
the BP
did for Red Crest. So I don't know if Zach was in that.
I don't know.
And
I know Smoke won that.
And then the last time I think the elites were there, it was not the elites, but Bassmaster was an open, like 4 or 5 years ago. So, and most of those guys were already on the elite series. So it's
and that was guys, one offshore.
Yeah,
like when the opens were there.
Yeah, and that was like October, or it was our last one of the year. Yeah. That was the year whenever Cody qualified. That was that year because he was out there. So that was probably. That was 2021, I think.
Yeah.
I think this one, the local boys are going to dominate. I really think do. So. I just think because of how that lake fishes the way.
And if they were smart, all 19 of them would band together.
The way the largemouth are dispersed in that lake where they're not in every creek and they're not in every arm of every creek. I also don't know, like Drew's a really good bed fisherman, but I don't know how good he is at fishing beds on docks because I've never really seen him do that. He's always found those areas where they're not. And we all know, anybody who's been to Norman, there's about 4 places you can go where they might be on beds where there aren't docks. That when Trey said 1 million docks, he wasn't kidding. Like that,
no joke.
There's nowhere to even run up in the woods and take a poop if you got to go.
Your dad knows exactly where
my dad will know where he can poop.
Knows.
My dad will know where you can go.
I
know where too because I had to take him.
I had to put a rock emoji because there's no poo emoji on your graph. I had to put a rock emoji.
So that's where you can safely go relieve yourself.
So you think it's going to be one down south?
I think that if, looking at how dirty things, it just really depends on the lake. But, down south in Blythe, you still got McGuire Pumping Station that's pumping out warm water, right? And then that creek, and I can't remember the name of the creek, but there's a giant creek. I think that one's going to get the most amount of pressure. So I don't know if it's necessarily going to be one in that creek, but it's the clearest water. It's the easiest water to sight fish, right? Now, you look at Mountain Creek, that holds big bass, stumpy, rocky, stuff like that. But, guys can run all the way up the river and do their thing up there. I don't know how the spawn works out up in the north. I've never fished that lake in the spawn anyway, so I have no clue. I'm just looking at the clear water.
And what really changed that discharge is when they took that from coal-fired to natural gas. And that's why sometimes the water temp is negligible. So if we get warm water, it won't. There almost won't be a difference between the two if we get good warm weather. It really, to Trey's point, depends on the weather we have leading up to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it went for where those fish could have spawned like now to where now it's almost the same, just because the heat that's put out from the natural gas fired is so much less. And that's why you hear guys talk about other lakes have been ruined that had discharges because they don't burn the coal anymore. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I don't know where it's going to be one. It could be in the south. I don't know. It's just not as good as it used to be down there when you talk to guys that fish it a bunch. Like the offshore stuff for the big spots down there is really good. We know because we've seen how many derbies get won down there. But it seems like the northern part of the lake is where the bigger largemouth bags are coming from.
And guys could catch spawning spotted bass.
They could. They'll probably be done by the time they're there, though.
Mm-hmm.
They spawn earlier, more like a smallmouth, more close to that 56, 57 degree water temp. But there still could be some on beds, 100%. It's going to be a cool tournament to watch.
For sure.
Excited for that one. Hopefully Trey's right, it's Seth or Brad, and I'm right and Brad wins. I hope Ben's wrong. Just because it's Drew. No, I'm just kidding. Drew Cook, man, if he does find those largemouth, I'm 1,000% on Ben. Like you're going to have trouble beating him. If he can find a pocket that's got him or a creek,
he'll catch him.
My biggest thing on that is like most lakes you can go research and find information.
If Norman's hard, you cannot.
They are super tight-lipped about that stuff. Like the YouTube videos, even like those guys have all gotten really good at hiding where they're at. Mm-hmm. I think there's one old timer that makes videos that'll tell you exactly where he's at, but he's never on giant fish. He goes out there and schwacks a bunch of them, and it's cool. But he'll be like, "Yeah, I'm in the mouth of so and so creek." And
NC Basson, he has a YouTube video. He's a former Army. He's a combat vet, and he does a really good job at like throwing a rock crawler and jigs and stuff around there. But he just targets like mostly the bridges, man, and he always catches them. But they're not always your tournament winning fish. So, but after North Carolina, they move on to Douglas, which is in
Tennessee.
And that is May 22nd through the 24th. That I don't know anything about Douglas Lake. The only thing I know is we drove over it when we all went to the Bassmaster Classic in Knoxville in 2023. Is that right?
I don't think that's Douglas.
No, that's Douglas.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
The sign there says French Broad River, but
it's it's the end of Douglas.
But I don't know anything about Douglas Lake. I'm sure it's just like it's got smallmouth in it too, maybe.
Yeah, it's Tennessee River Lake. Mostly smallmouth.
Yep.
Where are you going? Trey's running out of the house because he's scared of the dark. But yeah, Douglas May. I think that spawn is probably going to be about done.
It's going to be a post spawn.
That'll be a post spawn. I don't know if Douglas is one of the ledge fishing sort of lakes. A lot of the bigger derbies don't go there as much. Probably a smallmouth, but you got to remember in Tennessee, on Tennessee River Valley Lakes, they've got some kind of goofy smallmouth regulations. And I don't know what they are anymore. I haven't fished over there in a long time, so I haven't paid attention to it. I don't know. I don't know how that one's going to set up. It's going to be post spawn. You're probably going to see a lot of guys cranking, a lot of guys throwing jigs, fishing those traditional post spawn holding areas. And remember, no forward facing, so you may still see some guys pinging a minnow. I mean, if they won't be pinging it, but throwing it, you can still mid stroll and do all that stuff without looking at it. Again, I need to look at the smallmouth regulations. I didn't do my homework before this because they are weird in Tennessee. So I don't know. I think they have to be like
18 inches.
They have to be over 18, right?
That's at least that it was of the Classic, and for because MLF was there right before too.
Yeah.
So, and they were on Douglas.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a cranking game, shallow, and I'm going to say Luis Fernandez is going to win that one.
Ooh, dang, son. Luis Fernandez for the dub on Douglas. Ben, did you already pick who's going to win?
No, I haven't yet.
Man, that's a tough one, dude. I don't really know, but I'm going to go with Brandon Perkins for Douglas. I don't know where Perkins is from, to be honest with you, but he just, for some odd reason, he popped in my head, and I was like, you know what, Brandon Perkins, I feel like he's going to do really well there.
You got, man?
I'm thinking.
Oh my goodness. All this.
I mean, obviously, there's no wrong answers.
I'm gonna go Kyle Welcher.
Okay, Kyle Welter.
It's a good pick.
Yep.
He's got experience on TVRA lakes, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and I guess it technically can. Maybe it's the TVA lake because it's the French
Trey.
Broad River, but it turns into the Tennessee River at Knoxville.
Train, yeah.
Brandon Perkins from Counts, Tennessee,
He
and
knew.
he's been with the league, I want to say, since the inaugural season. And so, if Billy Hackworth he's a good buddy of mine. If Billy was still fishing, I'd call Billy on this one, but Billy's doing other things now. So I'm going to go with Brandon Perkins on this one for Douglas.
Yeah, good.
So
Who'd you go with, Ben? You didn't pick yet, did you?
Kyle Welcher.
Kyle
That's
Welcher,
right, Kyle Welcher.
reigning angler of the year.
Yeah. And then they're going to leave Tennessee and they're going to head to Eufaula, Oklahoma. That's going to be
gonna be a hot one.
It's going to be a tough one, a grinder for lack of a better term. And I'm going to go with our boy Zach Burge,
Yeah. Dang it.
Oklahoma boy. I was picking it because I knew you were going to. I was like, I know he's going.
Well,
there's no Oklahoma boy on there too.
Yeah, there's a couple. Yeah, you want me to pull his name up?
Yeah, Jason. His name is Jason Christie.
Oh, there's more than that. I forgot about Jason Christie.
Yeah, Jason Christie's on there.
There's a
Zach
few.
Burge,
Tommy Biffle.
Tommy Biffle's on there.
But yeah, I'm going with Zach on this one. It is going to be.
That's going to be a stinky one.
That is going to
dude.
be a stinky one, for lack of a better term. They're going to catch fish for sure. That's way post spawn. They're going to be out there doing their summertime thing down there by the time they get there. So, be interesting.
I think you're going to see a lot of shaky heads on brush piles.
Maybe.
I think you're going to see a lot of, I don't know if there's grass in Eufaula, Oklahoma or not. But that being said, I'm going to go with one of the OGs who not too many years ago got his very first win on the Elite Series, and that's Bill Lowen. So Bill Lowen, really great at, fishing dirty water, flipping a jig, doing all that good stuff that we like to do. And so I'm going to go with Bill Lowen on this one. What you got, Ben?
I'm gonna go Will Harkins.
Okay, Will Harkins.
I just think he's pretty good at the crankbait, and that's where he won. And I think crankbait's going to play. It's going to be post spawn, probably moving offshore. I think it's got boat docks out there too. So
it does. Yeah.
So then that can come and play as well. So
I think it's going to be disgustingly hot. But Zach Burge is a good call for that one too, Pete. So Pete right now is Google Earthing
Very good. I was just going to look at it for my own.
of Eufaula.
So then they're going to leave Eufaula. They're going to head north to St. Lawrence River.
Stop number 5.
Stop number 5.
This one I'm
July
excited to
9th
see.
through 11th.
This one I'm super excited to see.
Yeah.
Because it's been a long time since we've seen a true smallmouth event without forward-facing sonar. Right. And I really want to see how, we obviously saw it with Jacob Wheeler. It didn't even matter. He didn't even turn the scope on. But I want to see what the weights look like, how many people are catching those big brown fish, and compare it to maybe a series that does use forward-facing sonar. So, but yeah, St. Lawrence River, man, I'm super excited to see that one. What do you guys got for that?
Who you got?
I'm gonna go Tyler Williams.
Tyler Williams is fishing this?
Yeah, he's on the list.
Is he really?
And he's from Maine too. So
Dang, dude, he is amazing with a jig too. He's amazing with a jig, man. Oh man, you know what? Jeez,
do your research, man.
I know. I know. I totally forgot about Hackney and Canterbury and all those other ones, man. But
Sucks to suck.
yeah, it does suck.
Who are you going with for this one, though?
For the St. Lawrence?
Yeah.
And you think they're going to be? This is early July. Are they going to still be spawning? You think they'll be done?
Maybe. I don't. No, they've had a pretty tough winter. They should be done by then, though. They're usually with a bad winter.
I would like to see.
Usually with a bad winter, it's early
I would
July,
love to see
or early June. I mean,
Seth's big body leaning over with a flogger.
So this one I am going to go with B-Dub. I'm going to go with the Bass Warrior on this one. He's really, really good offshore. I think he understands this kind of fishing without forward-facing sonar, especially being from California. So I think Luis Fernandez is going to win this one.
Good choice.
that's a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I just don't know.
Man,
I'll tell you who I'm going to go with.
Hunter Bogman.
No, a dude that has a lot of experience on not just the St. Lawrence, but Lake Champlain. The Champlain kid, Cole Harris.
There you go.
He grew up fishing up there with no forward
Boom.
facing. He's probably got some
yeah.
time on the lake. That local knowledge helps.
Mhm.
I think some of the folks that have grown up smallmouth fishing with the technology are going to struggle a little bit in their first derby without it. The smallmouth is a little bit different creature when you don't have that.
Yeah,
and if you haven't done it before, there is a learning curve, and I don't know. They're not going to get a chance to go up and practice it before practice. Well, I mean, I guess they could if they don't have another job. If this is their job, they may be able to slide to Champlain or somewhere and do it. But
this is the event I think experience is going to matter the most.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, so I think this is the event where you probably have less spread between all the elite guys and Zach, of course, coming over. Because, I mean, BPT and the elites go to St. Lawrence, it seems like almost every year.
Every year.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that those guys have a lot of experience up there, a lot of experience around this time of year too, when they're going. Usually that's when those other tours go up there, July or August. So I think you'll probably see a bunch of them in the top 25.
there's a good chance.
And more so, I think a lot of the other events will be a lot more variance, but I think experience is going to play big on this one.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance of that, and that's why I went with somebody who knows got local experience. But Tyler Williams is good with a jig if he finds those fish. Big smallmouth love a jig. Luis Fernandez got a lot of experience fishing offshore, clear water stuff. So that's going to be that's an event I think we all picked to be like the one we were most excited for. Nobody has picked the next one to be the most excited for. This is going to be,
I know exactly who I'm picking for this one.
Absolute grind fest. And I don't want to use cliches, but this is going to be the Sabine. This is going to be a Sabine River of the NPFL. They are going to have to go out there and just fish grimy, dirty, nasty for 4 days.
And that's because they're going to Logan Martin
in September.
Not
good part of the fall. Late September, they're not even really transition. That's when those fish are like, where are they at? They're just kind of doing their thing.
And they went there, when they went there before, I think it was their first event or maybe second event of the year. Did BPT go last year, I think?
I don't know if they went to Logan. No, NPFL went to Logan Martin last year.
Well, maybe it was 2 years ago. I think at BPT went.
Will Harkins won last year.
Went to within the last couple of years, but it's always an early event.
Yeah,
this is going to be.
Yeah,
it's going to be nasty.
It's going to be dirty.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be just dirty. They were there January last year. Let's take a look real quick. Will Harkins won with 47 pounds.
Yep.
Brock Abila finished the second. Jesse Millsap's third. Luis Fernandez fourth, and Buddy Gross was fifth.
Yep.
Man.
Our boy Seth Ellis came in 11th on that one.
Yeah, this is going to be – who you got? Because you were pretty confident.
I'm going with Greg Hackney all day long. Why? Greg Hackney fished a lot of years when the Elite Series fished in the fall, right? He – knows how to find fish. He knows how to catch fish in grimy conditions. And I just think that Greg Hackney, I think he's going to be worn out. He's going to have the Elite Series and obviously the entire year of the NPFL, but I think he's going to have enough of a second wind to go in there and absolutely like stomp them in the ground.
Yeah, I mean, by the time they go there, the Elite Series will have been done for 2 months almost.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll have a pretty good break between the last event there. So yeah, I think that's a good pick. He's gonna be nice and recharged and ready to go to schwack him on one last one. You want to go next, Ben? Or you want me to? Go ahead.
I want to go Canterbury.
I knew you were gonna go, and I was gonna say if it wasn't Hackney, I was gonna go with Canterbury on this one.
I mean, it's just Alabama boy. He's got probably a lot of experience down there, and experience fishing that time of year.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think he's a guy that probably puts the boat away and does a lot of hunting and stuff during the off season, but I'm sure he still gets on during the fall after the season's over. So got experience, and when the conditions just get terrible down there, because I'm afraid, even though it's late September, I think it's going to be hot too.
Mm-hmm.
It's still going to be hot.
It will be.
I'm I'm going to go with another dude that's got a ton of time down there fishing grimy, nasty, no good, warm weather lakes that time of year. Coming back to the National Professional Fishing League, JMFW, James
Watson.
Worldwide Watson
Oh my!
is going to pull one out. I mean,
he's going to use a big old spoon.
He's been fishing those grimy Arkansas summertime. You got to grind them lakes for a long time.
Yeah.
Made a lot of money. He's also a dude that's been doing this for a long time. He's got experience fishing all 4 seasons in major events all over the country,
worldwide.
And he's hungry, man.
He is.
He's hungry after at what went down with the BPT and the MLF that for speaking his mind.
Mm-hmm. James got canceled.
He did. He got hit with cancel culture.
Yeah, he got hit hard with cancel. And man,
really only one person canceled.
I wouldn't be surprised if James goes out and wins all 6 of these.
Because the fishing world was behind James Watson. There was one individual that wasn't behind him, and I'm not going to talk about that if you don't know who it is, BD. So I'm going to go with James Watson on this one. He's going to go flip boat docks. I don't even know if there are boat docks. I just wanted to say that.
There's plenty of boat docks.
I don't know much about Logan Martin. It's not a lake that was ever on my radar. Like when I know it's got a lot of history. It's just not one that ever was like super interesting to me. But it sets up. I know it sets up a lot like Ozarks and some of those other lakes down in that part of the world. And I think for him. Again, he's going to have that advantage over some folks, kind of like Hackney and the others that have fished this time of year in those types of situations. Same with Canterbury. He's a guy that's got that experience. The reason I think James will separate himself a little bit and why I picked him is he doesn't hunt like these other dudes do.
No,
he's still out there fishing. Like I know he does a little bit, but like Canterbury puts his boat away and he's duck hunting, he's deer hunting. Same with Hackney. Like all of them guys spend a lot of time in the woods to reset. So I don't know how long it's been since those guys have gone out there in late September and done it. But so that's the 6 events. We'll find out who qualifies for the championship. But then we have the 2024
why don't you go to
championship
pull
on
up
Lake Hartwell.
The AOI rankings from last year, so we know the top 40. So
they won't all be. There'll be one outside of that, and I can't remember who it was. So,
it might be 41, but regardless,
it's still 40. But one of them won't be in there because he didn't make it in there, but he won a tournament. I can't remember who it was.
I know who it is.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
But so Lake Hartwell, October 3rd through 5th.
That's going to be an interesting one.
So this is going to be the 2024 championship, which means there will be guys like Trent Palmer, Corbishley, who are fishing the Opens this year. They will be able to come back and fish the championship because they qualified last year. And then also it's of 2024 rules. So live scope is going to be allowed at this championship event. Because the NPFL, Brad and Paul, they just felt like it was fair. If you qualified under those rules, championship should be under those rules too. Yep. So that adds some unique things. So, the guys who aren't fishing NPFL but are coming back, a lot of them are, like I said, are fishing the Open. So they're going to be using live scope all year. Obviously, the elite guys are bouncing back and forth using live scope. But it will be interesting that the NPFL guys will not have used it in competition setting for the entire year.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how that's going to affect people's games.
I don't know either. I just, it's unlike other championships that we see. Obviously the NPFL is doing this one in the deep, I guess it'd be the deep fall or the early fall. On a lake that hasn't been doing that great as far as like the fish health and stuff like that. But regardless of the fact, I think we should be able to make it down there.
We should be able to make it. Yeah. I think it's probably going to be a brush pile, shaky head bite that time of year.
Yeah.
Because that's like Lanier set up a lot like that when they were down there for their last event 2 years ago. And that's how Mike won this. Didn't he win Hartwell last year?
Yeah, he won.
Didn't he win fishing brush piles?
Yeah, I think so. I don't really know. I don't know if he really spilled the beans, to us or anything like that. I mean, we're all friends, but he ain't going to tell us all the juice.
I know what he was doing, but I'm not going to say.
Well, he was fishing.
Because he didn't put it out there.
Yeah, so, I mean, he clearly found the winning fish, and he's one to be he's definitely one, especially, I'm not saying Mike doesn't catch him without forward-facing sonar. He's been taking people's money on Falls Lake forever without it. But it's definitely going to be a huge plus in an October tournament on Hartwell if they're targeting cane piles and brush piles and stuff like that. So, man, it's hard not to pick Mike for that championship. The only thing I'm wondering is if Mike qualifies.
Oh, that one got moved.
If Mike qualifies for the
Because of a
EQs,
hurricane.
is he going to have a scheduling conflict this year?
I don't think there was one.
Okay, so
If I remember correctly,
that's something that we'll have to take a look at. Is will the schedules conflict with each other from the opens?
Oh yeah, because I don't know what those last three. I don't
either.
Third through fifth.
So Pete's trying to pull it up, but yeah, with the opens, right? You fish your four in your division, and if you qualify, then it's those other three events that are in the fall. So I mean that could be there. That is that's the Elite Series there.
No,
I think he's looking at.
That's EQs.
Oh, that does conflict.
October 2nd through 4th.
It does conflict. Yep.
3rd through 5th. Yeah.
Yep. So right now, the Bassmaster Elite qualifiers, the one that's on Pickwick is October 2nd through the 4th, and the NPFL's championship is October 3rd through the 5th. So that's going to be an interesting one. What choice are guys going to make?
Well, I mean, there's no choice.
They're going to go with the
No
EQ
brainer.
tournament.
I mean, if they've qualified for the EQs, they're going to fish.
You're going to
the
fish those three and have a chance to go fish the Elite Series.
And what else is interesting too is the NPFL. They don't do that. At least from my understanding,
There's no double
qualifying. They're not going to roll people in.
Although that is an interesting. It is interesting.
Debacle
Because there's 41 anglers and it's 40 and it's $100,000. So 1 in 40 chance.
Yep.
Or depending on that first elite qualifier event, assuming you're in there.
Yeah.
what do you do?
Yep.
So that's
well, it's a no brainer.
Yeah.
You're fishing the EQ. Those guys are doing that to try to chase their dream of fishing the Elite Series. To me, I mean, I'm not going and fishing the NPFL championship if I have a chance to qualify for the Elites.
That's true.
That's a dream. To even get to that point, to make it to the EQs is
I guess
an uphill climb.
Guess it depends on where you're at in the standings after the first tournament, right? Because that is the second EQ tournament.
Yeah, but you're not unless you zeroed. I don't think you can lose your shot. That's the beauty of them resetting points after the regular open season is everybody starts at zero. So you could have one struggle tournament and you could still potentially bounce back. So I don't know how much. I don't know. That's a good point. Like,
I mean, like if you finish dead last,
which one do you?
I don't think you got to.
But I'm also fairly certain that if you qualify for the EQs, you have to pay for all of the three of them up front.
do.
They're not going to refund your money, so you're going to throw away $5,700.
Yeah, you're right.
To go fish a free tournament, probably not.
Yeah, you're right.
A free tournament that you could win $100,000 at.
Yeah, but you're talking about throwing.
And
the other thing that
Corbish League won Hartwell.
The other thing you're forgetting about is sponsors.
That's true.
Lawrence is going to tell you to go fish the EQs.
That's true.
Or whoever you're sponsored by. I'm not specifically talking about Corbish. We have other guys that could.
So I guess
our sponsor is going to tell you, hey, man, we like the NPFL, but there's a lot more visibility on these EQs, so you're going to go fish that.
Yeah. So it looks like I'm not going to be picking Mike or Palmer because
you can,
just I'm going to be hopeful that they're in the EQ qualifying. You know that they've done it.
Well, let's run down. Pete, can you pull that? Well, we can just make our picks here because I already know who I'm picking. So
who are you picking?
I'm picking Walters. Right.
That's who I was going to go with.
Okay, so if it's not Walters, then I'm picking.
I'll get somebody else. That's fine.
I mean, we can pick the same people. It's not a big deal. Walters, obviously everybody knows, just has a ton of experience on that lake. Forward facing sonar is going to be allowed. It's hard not to pick him on that lake. It really is. It's hard not to pick Walters when you're on Murray. You know, he's just always in contention for a win there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
who you got, man?
I'm gonna go Todd Goad.
Todd Goad's another great
because he won Lanier, and I think it's going to set up probably pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
They got a ton of experience there too.
So I suspect. Yeah, I think he'll. I'll go Todd.
I'm not picking anybody.
You're not?
No.
All right.
I'm just kidding. I'm going Will Harkins.
Okay.
Oh,
The kid's going to go down there.
The kid's going to
and he's
go.
going to mash him.
You know, he's not the youngest to win an NPFL event now.
No.
Bailey Gay
Bailey
is.
Gay is, yeah.
Bailey won that last tournament. He won at Murray, and he's the youngest, 21 years old, hoisted a blue shield up, $100,000. And he's the youngest in NPFL history.
Now that doesn't have any bearing on the 2025 season. So who do
No.
you have for AOF for 2025?
Ben.
oh man.
Seth already got mad at me for this, but I'll go ahead and say it when Ben's done.
No, go ahead if you want to go first. We'll let Ben think. He's not sure yet.
So my 2025, here's my top two.
Nope,
My-
you only get to pick
All
one.
right. My angler of the year pick for the NPFL is Luis Fernandez for 2025.
You heard it here first, folks. Ben, who you got?
Seth, I hope you come in second.
I'll go because I got mine. This is really going to make Seth mad, but I'm going to go with a dude that had an amazing first year. He's
Josh
got the
Hooks.
experience now, and he's hungry after a mistake that he made in the final tournament. Josh Hooks.
Josh Hooks. Josh Hooks dude.
is ready. He's a lot of these grindy, nasty, dirty tournaments.
I mean, he's a North
We got a
Carolina
lot of those here in North Carolina, bro. We got these lakes are tough to fish. He's really good with his electronics outside of the forward facing. He got much better with it,
Very
but
good.
he's very, very, very good with side imaging, down imaging, and 2D.
I may have stole or may not have stole his card from his graph. No, I'm just
You
kidding.
weren't supposed to tell people, man. $1,000 will sell it to you. No, I'm just kidding. We're holding it ransom. We cut out newspaper. Y'all are too young to know what that means.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to go with Josh Hooks, man. I think he's super
That's a good
hungry.
call.
He almost cashed a check in every event if it weren't for one
Last one was the only
mistake
one.
that he made. And he learned from that, and he's not going to make it again. One of
And
the
it was
most
his rookie
consistent,
year.
one of the most consistent anglers locally for a long time. Rookie year, and had a not good last tournament, and still finished 23rd. I'm going with Josh, man.
I'm gonna go with Tyler Williams again.
Yeah, another good pick.
Ooh.
Another great pick.
Oh, you know that kid, all he does is fish.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
He
it.
literally lives out of his truck
Did you
and he fishes.
did you ever see the first interview he ever did with Mercer?
Yes.
Not when he was in the elites.
No.
Mercer rolled up to a boat ramp. The elites were getting ready to fish some lake, and it was like a little side ramp. And I think it was Mercer. It might have been Zona. One of the two was going to put their boat in to go run around the lake and do some stuff before the tournament. And Tyler Williams was there with his boat laying on the ramp, not on the trailer. And he interviewed him, and he told him, "I'm gonna fish with y'all one of these days." And he says, "I hope you do." And meanwhile, his boat's laying there, not on the trailer, because he pulled out and it slid off the bunks.
Oh, no.
And there he was fishing. So Zona, it was either Zona or Mercer. They talked about it last year, which was Tyler's rookie year, about how when they ran into him,
The kid's a hammer.
he was
dude.
there with no boat on the trailer.
And he has a great attitude.
he does.
Just a happy guy from Maine.
They when they went to that stinky,
Did
nasty,
he win one last
sweaty.
year?
He didn't.
No, but they went to that stinky, nasty, sweaty tournament on where were they? What's his name won? It was his first ever Elite Series win.
Pick on Wheeler.
Yeah, remember how hot and nasty
That
it
was,
was?
freaking Prince.
Prince.
Prince
Cliff
won
Prince
that one.
won.
Yeah.
Remember Tyler Williams rigged up that DeWalt fan
Yeah.
on his boat so he could blow the air.
And he was still smashing him with
And
a
he was
jig,
still
dude.
smashing with the jig.
The kid's a hammer, dude. So it's a great pick for
Great,
him.
yeah.
I mean, he's a hammer. He was one of those phenomenal rookies last year on the Elite Series. Like you say, he just loves to fish.
He
Great
does.
with the jig
Mhm.
and with no, forward facing. I mean, he proved last year in the Elites it doesn't matter. Like he could.
Yeah.
I think his attitude has so much to do
It does.
with his performance.
It's super, super positive.
He has like
Always
no
happy.
negativity bias. Like he's just super happy. He just loves to be doing what he's doing. I wish I could be that way.
Would they call him the shoeless bandit or something?
don't
'Cause
know.
He always fishing up there with no shoes on. Like a fruit bat.
But folks, we broke down the NPFL's 2025 schedule. A lot of great anglers that have stayed there. A lot of great anglers that have moved on to go do what they want to do. Our good buddy Corbish Lee is going to fish the opens. We wish him the best of luck. A lot of great anglers coming over from the Elite Series and the BPT and stuff like that, and from the old FLW days.
Yeah.
The NPFL made a business decision. We fully support it, just like we support Bass making their business decision and BPT making their decision. I mean, everybody's got to make money and they got to do it their way. So I'm really excited to see the league's season this year. It is definitely one of the formats I'm going to be paying the most attention to, because they're taking scope out of the game, and I really want to see how that does.
I also feel like because it's a 3-day tournament and you fish all 3 days.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen some guys come back and do it, but I have a feeling this year we might see one of the guys just drop a massive sack on the final day and go from like 40th to first or something.
It's very possible.
I just feel like, especially with the guys coming over that have all that experience, that you just give them enough time, they're going to figure it out.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. So give us your predictions on the NPFL's 2025 season. Who you think's going to win what? We're looking forward to watching along. We're looking forward to seeing Seth finish second in AOI behind our picks, because we got a lot riding on our picks. Literally nothing. So hopefully Seth goes out there and proves us
We're just
wrong.
trying to light a fire under his butt.
But Josh is going to win. So appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Thank you all for the support and helping us continue to grow. Culture of Anglers, helping anglers one cast at a time.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.